Afternoon. Nice long trip back from Vegas. Guys had a chance to recover. The challenge to the guys is, can we capture our work ethic on Wednesday? We call it Work Wednesday for a reason, and they were in it. They were focused, locked in today, working together, and guys working through some bumps and some things. We played a long, game all the way to the end. Had to finish it there. The Raiders kept coming, and we were finished running the ball at the end. So got our play totals up right there, and then we got to respond with another great week. So a great step in that direction. Questions?
Damian Lewis's elbow, he obviously didn't practice today. What's the severity of that elbow injury? And then we saw that Fuller and Thielen are both on IR.
Yeah.
How severe were those hamstring injuries?
Yeah, Thielen got a pretty good hamstring, so it's going to be at least 4 weeks for him. Let's see, Lonnie Johnson had something in his groin area, so he's working through kind of the pain there. We're just evaluating him to see if he can be available this week as well. Damian Lewis, he injured his UCL, and he's just they did some assessment of that. They gave us a really broad window for that one, so we're trying to just push him and kind of see what we can get out of him, see if we can get him back out there. But that's kind of up in the air really right now there. Let's see who else. Shai had some good work today, so look to add a little bit more work for him tomorrow, see if we can potentially get him up. But we'll have to make that decision kind of as we go this week. Anybody else I miss? Fuller had a really good hamstring as well, so he's going to miss some time with that hamstring too. So not something that we expect to, just come back quickly there. So he's in a return to play program as well.
Will either Fuller or Thielen need surgery?
No, they will not.
Dave,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, while we're talking injuries, I'm
Yeah.
getting close to the window for activation for those first 4 week guys.
Yeah.
Do you have an update on maybe Jonathan and
Yeah, just the progression of them. We're ramping them up. They're all in the final stages of the evaluation process. Some last couple of hurdles for them to clear before we feel like we can put them out there and practice. But they're all really close. Jonathan, DJ Wanham, let's see who, Dane Jackson. Barno, all those guys they're trending in the right direction. Jaden Crumity as well, so guys they're looking really strong. Again, they're kind of in those final stages. I kind of just want to leave it at that, but we're getting close to being able to open up the window for those guys.
Dave Jackson,
Yeah.
found him nearing a return. Has Mike Jackson done enough to retain the CB2 role?
Well, Mike's done a great job. So right now we just go off the information we have, and he's been a dependable corner out there. Had some great finishes in the game. Really impressed with his effort and finish. Really led the charge that way for a group that's been challenging each other to do that. So, and I got to give Jonathan Cooley a little love, for just being able to onboard Mike Jack in the short window that we had him, to get him to play the kind of football that he's been playing has been fantastic, and just excited seeing JC out there. Troy Hill, of course, making some plays last week, so really fired up about our defensive pass game coordinator, Jonathan Cooley, for just bringing that group along while he's still developing a lot of the younger guys as well.
This was the team's first taste of success this season.
Yeah.
How do you think that's changed them, and how do you think practices look after that?
This is a really focused group. I know I keep saying that, but it really is. They have a real seriousness about the way they go about their work, and come into the meeting room, and I'm kind of not sure exactly what to expect about the response of the guys following a win. And it was just this real determination and focus to take the next step. They know they have things to clean up from the game, but it was a great response, and just really just getting back to work today. And so I love that about this group, to take on that challenge and to just focus on the very next challenge, which is today, and then going into Thursday and stack them up, and then go out and play the Bengals on Sunday.
Dave, how do you replace Adam? Who starts and who do you expect to see them?
All the guys got to be ready to step up. Those are big shoes to fill, especially just with Thielen, the way that he works, the way that he goes about his job every day, and then for sure on Sundays, just he plays so fast, and he makes the right decisions. So this is a great opportunity for Xavier, for Mingo, for David Moore, Jalen Coker, who we brought up on the 53, looking at all those guys this week, as we go through the week to see who can bring something, who can add a spark, to this pass game as we continue to develop together.
Andy and Deontay really seem to have a good connection. What did you see from those two in particular?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, this is a real challenge, to come into a situation where most of your reps haven't gone to Deontay, but both of those guys are experienced players who are very serious about the game plan, about working through the nuances of the routes all the way through the plan. And so that was a full week process all the way through Saturday of talking, on game day, having those conversations on the sideline. So just a great job by those two guys to find good work together.
So follow up, do you want to name a starter receiver yet? Or?
No, not right now. Yeah, I expect all those guys to play, and as we continue to put our plan together, that'll come to life. But this is a great opportunity for those guys.
You shared previously after the win the opportunity to establish culture.
Yeah.
What does that look like after a win like Sunday?
Right back to work. That's what it looks like. You get to celebrate it for about 24 hours, and then your focus has to go to the next opponent, and that's the way it is. And we all have to have that approach, I was so proud of the guys to see them come together and work for that win. They earned that by the work they put in the week, and Sunday's about our players, to be able to celebrate that with them in the locker room. I live for those moments where they take ownership of what we're doing, and I can feel that shift as I stand up there and try to set a culture and philosophy for how we do things. To see those guys embody it, to embrace it, and then to put their own personality and flavor on it is really special. And I'm just hoping we just take the very next step this week.
Sorry, I know you've had a rotational captain over the last 3 weeks,
Yeah.
especially because of Sam. But does that only stick to special teams? Obviously, a lot of
Yeah.
coaches, when former players face their former teams, obviously Andy has a lot of
Yeah.
history there. Nick Scott's got history there. Is that something you contemplate? Just
I try to make it about us. I want to reward and recognize the guys that are doing great work, that are doing what we're asking and playing with full effort, and so I love to recognize somebody from the special teams unit who embodies that. And, if Sam Franklin was here playing, he would embody that kind of style and that passion for football. So it's somebody who steps in, and that's in the spirit of that approach to football. So I like having that rotation for us.
The run game across the league has been up from the last few years. Pass game actually down. Why do you think that is?
That's a good question. All I know is that when you run the ball and you can have a mentality and attitude about it, it opens up a lot of other things. And I think that for me, for our program, for our team here, being able to run the football allows us to play deep into games, allows us to put that stress and strain on the defense, particularly if we have a good, efficient day on third down. So for me, it's a belief. For me, it's a mentality. And I think that, we're seeing, maybe we're seeing an influx of coordinators who value the same thing for their teams. Play great defense, run the ball, and your pass game, as always, takes time for that chemistry and all that to really come on. And there's a few teams who captured it early this year, and have had some real success. And we had a fantastic day throwing the ball on Sunday, but it typically takes a little bit more time that way. But that you can this game still comes down to it's a physical game. It's those one-on-one matchups and who wants it more. And there's no better way to try to achieve that as a team than to run the football.
Following up on Mike's question, your other captain spots are permanent, right?
Yeah. Yes, those were voted in by our team, and so those spots are permanent. Yeah.
with Damian potentially missing time,
Yeah.
you said he had a broad recovery timeline. Do you feel comfortable with Chandler Zavala?
Absolutely. Chandler's a guy that brings power inside. The thing that we try to build this offensive line inside out, and so I'm really excited to see Chandler step in and have this opportunity. So excited for him. He's worked so hard to get himself back to that point, and he's earned this opportunity.
Dave, your offense put on a lot of good tape. What's that chess match like where the teams are going to try to adjust and they've seen now what you're doing with Andy? What's that like for you to kind of make it so it's not predictable, but you still want to be familiar as a play caller?
Yeah, well, it starts with the run game, and then everything comes off of that. And so when you run the ball efficiently on first and second down, you put yourself in favorable third downs, which allows us to continue drives, make the defense play to our run so we can throw our play actions and the things we love to do. And so that's kind of the mix and the way that I see it, and the way we'll continue to play ball. So that part hasn't changed, that approach, but when you sustain drives, it allows you to wear down that defensive line and potentially get some shots down the field and be able to protect and do those things. So it all fits in. It's complementary football, and of course that whole style bleeds into taking care of your defense, making sure they go back out there fresh so they can play the run. run so they can match concepts in the known pass situations and get our pass rushes the way we want. So, yeah, that's just, kind of my belief, and at the end of the day, call plays that they know and love. Call the ones that they know that they're comfortable with, and when it comes across the headset, Andy gets fired up about it. When he calls it to the offensive players, they're excited about what's being called.
Dave, given the success that you guys had offensively in Andy's first start in your system, I mean, how much more can you add to what you guys are doing over the course of the season going off that?
It's just compliments off of our core. So you put your core out there, you have success with it, and Coach Tom Moore said they won't cover what you don't throw. So if you have a starting point and you get the ball to the first progression, then all of a sudden the defense starts to play to it and then other things open up. And so it's just continuing to build the things that I feel confident with our guys to execute and then build the compliments off of those things.
We'll do a couple more. What did you observe last week and Sunday for the empathy that Andy showed Bryce that stood out in your mind?
It's football. You go and you work hard. You try to execute with your offense and then just try to lead and do those things. And that was Andy's focus. His focus was on performing well and making those plays come to life for our guys.
Guessing you got a chance to watch the Bengals Monday night. What your thoughts on them as a team and specifically Joe Burrow?
Yeah, this is a great group that I really respect. Zach Taylor, I've always admired just the way that they play smart situational football, and they're versatile in their attacks. They have different styles of runs, they have different styles of passes, and they got a lot of talent on the offensive side. Defensively, they play hard and they have a great scheme. They have great disguises. They have great pressure packages in different situations. And so this is a real challenge for us to be able to gather the information we need to try to evaluate how they're going to attack us, how they're going to try to disguise things that they do. But another great challenge for us to step up and make sure that our ball is right, that we're playing fast and everyone's doing what they're supposed to do so we can play efficiently.
Crazy to see them come in here with great.
I mean, for me, it's just the next game. There's you don't carry all of those wins or losses into the next game. It's just this one. They're right back to work, I'm sure, just like we are. We're focused on this game, and we can't think about what happened in the last week.
National Hispanic Heritage Month, what does it mean to you, and have you gotten involved with NFL for any kind of promotions for it, like you did with the vote?
Not since the Latino Vote commercial that I was able to film here in our building. I take a lot of pride in it. Take a lot of pride in where I come from, my family, my background, just the long journey really of my grandparents. Coming from Mexico, establishing citizenship for my grandfather in World War II, and just really hoping for a better life for my dad, for his sisters. And breathing in that dream that here you can do anything you put your mind to, you can accomplish anything that way. And so I take a lot of pride in the fact that my dad stands on the shoulders of my grandparents, and I stand on the shoulders of my dad and his generation, my brothers and I, to just take the next step and to give something better than what we got to our kids. And so I love just standing for that, and I take a lot of pride in it.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.